There's different things. Variance requests aren't cheap, believe me, I know. And everything, if they don't wanna follow the rules, then they gotta go for the options of variance. And the rules are kind of straightforward as far as square footage of temporary structures. If we went back to the 10-foot sideline, 40-foot front yard, you follow the same guidelines we do with the rest of our building procedures. On a corner lot, it's 30 foot from the side yard, whatever, that's all in the books already, so. But if we follow that with the temporary structures, it'd be easier for people to understand and enforce.
I agree, Joe. First planning and zoning meeting I came to where you guys talked about accessory buildings. If you say one's 120 and one's 250 and 120 is supposed to be chicken coop, you know that they're gonna flip, anybody that's gonna flip it, they're gonna put the chickens in the 250 and they're gonna put their lawnmower in the 150. So I agree, it's just, it makes more sense to do it exactly how you described it, rather than designated the use for each one of those, because people are gonna use it how they're going to anyway. So you either permit for the 2 accessory structures or you don't.
The reason why there was chicken coops were in the proposal limited to 120 square feet was because in another, I think in the RA district, if you wanted to add a shed that was less than 120 feet, you could do it without a permit. And so one of my goals was to try to make this, you can have chickens without getting a permit. So that's where the 120 square feet came from, is if it was allowed in the RA district, it should be allowed in the R1 district if you're under 120 feet. But if, that's where the 120 feet came from, just to try to not have a permit, not have to get a permit for chickens.
But they still have that option if they just didn't do over 120 square foot, by choice. Because they could go up to, let's say, 200 square feet, but if they opted for 120, they can still bypass the permit process. Is that right? I mean, even if the ordinance says you can do 200 feet, if you build your structure at 120, you don't need to do a permit, right?
Well, the way it reads down, 120 and below for a shed structure doesn't require anything.
Right.
120 to 199 requires a zoning permit, and even a portable structure, consider it or a shed, 200 and above does require a building permit.
200 and above, not 250?
That's right, 200 and above.
Where does the 250 come in? Because that was in.
250 is a portable structure, and 200 was accessory, like a shed. I know they're different, I don't know why, but.
That's just confusing.
I think,
I like
That's
Joe's.
just confusing, that should be the same, now, 250 or probably, maybe I think 250 or probably more.
I like Joe's proposal.
So I have,
250,
Anything over 200 is a building.
well, that's how it is, but.
Well, no, that's state to state.
That's-
State.
so the 120, is that a carryover from what it used to be? Because it used to be 120 was the building permit. And then it went to 200 maybe 5 years ago or something. So I'm just wondering if our language didn't update, because that's confusing to me then if there's nothing to go for setbacks, then if I build a 90 square foot building, I don't have to call or do anything. I could put it right on Bob's property line, fill it with 10 roosters, and go at it. But if it's 120, then I would have to get a zoning permit?
121 or above, yeah,
Yeah.
up to 120, you don't need to do anything.
And then that tells me to set it back 10 feet, but no building permit. And then if I went 200 or above, I'm still at 10 feet, and now I have a building permit.
Yes.
That gets a zoning review.
Correct.
But I could say, I don't want to do any of that, and get a portable structure that gets me up to 250. That would then still have to have the building review, but I'd get more, I guess, why would I get the 50 extra square feet?
Well, the state building code for a portable structure is 200 square feet.
100.
Yeah, so, and actually, I don't have the code in front of me to tell you exactly as far as a zoning review. I would assume it's the same as a shed, but I don't have it in front of me. need to know that, but I do know the state building code is 200 and above needs a building permit for a portable structure. You know, like a carport or whatever you can buy and, you know, erect on the property.
So then I asked this question last time, do we review ordinances at planning and zoning just based on a complaint or concern, or do we have a schedule of, because as you look at it, that's what a lot of this, what we're all discussing, is just conflict, and Lloyd, you've lived it, right? This points to this, and this goes this way, and then all of a sudden, how is staff supposed to be able to, you know, go at it, or was it more or less just, let's start cleaning up our numbers, dotting our i's and crossing t's, and then see where things need? Because it seems confusing to add more into something that isn't clear already.
On the state building code, it's a permanent structure of 200 square feet or more needs a building permit.
Any structure.
Any structure.
Portable, well then, right the way it's reading here, 200 square, one storage shed up to 200 square feet in size, and one portable structure up to 250 square feet. So what's the difference between a portable and a 200 foot square shed? I mean, it's a shed either way. If we could merge them or whatever, make them both the same square footage, same thing, keep them under the 200 square foot on a portable shed or a shed, that would, you know, simplify it in my mind for enforcement. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I believe that's what Supervisor Ledke is getting at, is consistency.
Get rid of the
Is-
steps we have, yes.
Right. 200 is gonna tip you into a building permit, then that should be the maximum for a
Storage shed.
temporary, portable. And I do know when the board was considering that ordinance, it was meant to be the hoop style, because there was even language in there about when it becomes tattered. So it really surprised me when we looked into that and it said storage containers. Because we have advised people storage containers are not allowed because they're not portable. They're not portable. They sit there, but you would need a large piece of equipment to move them, even though they're not on a foundation. Regardless, it's in there now. But that wasn't the intention when the first time that portable, it was a little loopy thing that you put your boat under, because some people didn't have space for other ones. But yes, that would actually help in the office in interpreting it, is that 200 is the tipping point for building permits, for maximum size, and for consistency. I don't know what the difference is between portable. I do know sheds can have electric.
Well, shipping containers are commonly 8 by 20 or 8 by 40, whatever. So I mean, 8 by 20 would fit into the 200 foot or less. But they would still need a permit because it's not a temporary size of shipping container, correct? That's what these.
You would need a zoning review. I just had someone on one of the lots back here. It's actually 3 lots, 50 by 80. 350, 80 by lots combined. And they wanted to line their property with storage containers. Obviously, they're only allowed one, but that was the vision, is that would be their fence.
But for the sake of our ordinance, forget about
Yeah.
200 square foot of any shed, to a maximum of 2 per lot.
I think anything over that is considered an accessory building. And it's over, so. Supervisor Wilkie's point, why are we calling it a portable structure when it actually falls in the category? Maybe, I don't mean to put words in your
No,
mouth.
the portable, I was gonna bring that up next. Definitions, because even in this conversation, I think we all know what we're talking about. I've heard temporary, I've heard portable. Because temporary to me means it's got an end date, it's got an end life, it's something. But if it's portable, that's on skids and you're moving in it or whatever. Again, definitions, and that's what triggered, you know, when this was brought up, the one thing I was looking at was 30-703, which is the most backwards code we have, that it says the same thing twice in reverse, but that it then limits based on someone's zoning district, what they can do based on, sorry, not their zoning district, based on their, whether they're meets and bounds or platted. Because again, we have a very wide range of lots that need different things. And if someone has 30 acres but it's platted, they can't do what someone who's 9 acres that meets and bounds under that current ordinance. So again, that's where I'm just wondering, some of those reviews, if those just happen periodically, quarterly, we're hitting this one, is this still how we're living in this township, or is this a carryover from 150 years ago and it's still on the books? Because, again, if you're trying to make it to what we're doing today, and it points every which way, it's confusion for all.
Input, other than mine. I'm gonna add something to this, as far as we're talking now, what I just got out of this conversation tonight. Forget about number of chickens, number of roosters, that's off the table, we're not going there, okay? Accessory buildings, portable buildings, whatever. The way it reads, the proposal we could go to is, 2 portable structures, no more than 200 square foot each. Beyond that, they would need a zoning review to get that, and forget about the 120-foot chicken coop. Is that kind of what we're talking?
The way it's written here is it allows 2 portable structures and.
That's proposed.
Yeah, and 120